Hello, everyone, and welcome to Study IQ. My name is Dr. Mahipal Rathod, and today we have with us 2018 batch Indian Forest Service Officer, Mr. Vijayanantham TR. Mr. Vijayanantham, welcome to Study IQ.
Hello, sir. Hello, everyone.
We have invited Mr. Vijayanantham over to Study IQ today to talk about the Indian Forest Service. What exactly is the job profile of a Forest Service officer? How is the job profile? What do they exactly do? How long is the training? What happens in the training? So we will try to clarify all the doubts that any aspirant might have about the forest services. But before we delve into the forest service, I would like to ask you a few questions about yourself. How did you get into civil services preparation? Where are you from? What's your basic educational background?
I am from Tamil Nadu, a small town called Namakkal. It's a small district. So my background is like I completed my after 12th standard. I did my BE Computer Science Engineering from Anna University, Chennai. Then through campus placements, I got as a software developer in Verizon Data Services. So while working, I got to know that desk job is not my cup of tea. Though I loved coding, but I want to meet people. I want to roam places. So with the job inside, I started preparation for civil services in 2014. So 2015 was my first attempt. I went till mains. Then 2016 my second attempt. I went till interview, and 2017 I cleared IFS. So this is my short journey in UPSC. So from where I got inspiration into public service, especially I would call as a field job. I'm a guy who like more to be on the field. So my father was a Group C office person, public servant from state government, and my uncle is also from Group B. So I used to go with them to the offices. I used to see them how diverse is their job is, and so many people they are meeting, and the blessings they get once they finish the service to the public, and the opportunities available for them. They can go to the field one day, they can sit in the office one day, they can start a new scheme on another day. The sheer size they are managing, the sheer fund they are managing, the number of people they are having, what responsibility or accountability, or like number of people they can change their lives, it's immense. So after seeing them I thought like I have to go in that line only, so I came to civil service.
Okay. But why choose forest services? Why not the civil services like IAS and IPS? I'm sure you must have written those exams as well. But what made you attempt forest as well? Because the exam for mains is different and the preparation is also a little bit different.
First of all, as like everyone, I also came for IAS only, uh, and I can say over a period of time, then I realized that my what attitude and aptitude is more tilted towards a field than a desk job. I want to be on the field. I want to walk. I want to talk with the people. I want to see the result of my work uh, right in front of my face. So like directly meeting and seeing, getting the feedback like that. So once entering to the civil services for IAS, then I explored what are the other services that are also available. See, everybody put IAS as first preference, then IFS. Many foreign services, or many will put police service after IAS. Many used to get settled for IPS or IRS IT. Then I thought like uh, I have to start my job soon. I don't want to like keep on writing for 6 years 7 years until I clear, because I don't have any guidance, or like none of my like any relatives or friends are from civil services. So and I want to start my job soon, I want to go to the field soon. So I thought like 2 to 3 attempts maximum. So I explored what are the other opportunities other than IAS, so that I can start my job soon and I have the liking of the same. Then I explored forest service. Thankfully, at the time, Pavin Kaswan sir and also Ravi Meena sir both started writing more about forest services. Then I started reading about forest services a lot. Then I got to know about it, that forest service is like a mix of IAS and IPS in a field of environment. Then I got more liking towards it. Then I put forest service as my second preference after IAS. So I decided that if I get IFS, I will settle with it. I will start my work soon. I will start going to training. I will start my work soon. So this is the way I chose IFS, uh, because it suited my attitude and aptitude, and it gave me what I wanted for when I started my preparation.
Okay. So you cracked the 2017 Forest Services exam and you started your training in 2018. tell us about the training in detail, because most of the aspirants are clueless about the training, about the cadre allocation, and the exact job profile of a forest officer. So let us start with the training process. Where exactly does the training take place, and what are the phases, and how long it is?
Yes. As like other two all India services, IAS, IPS, forest service training is also start with foundation course at Labasna or MCR. Since nowadays the batch is getting bigger for foundational course, other than IAS and foreign service, all the other services are split into two groups. One in NCR and another one in Labasna because of space constraint. Thankfully, from next year, for all the people who are entering into FC, it will be in Labasna only. So this is the first phase. As like everyone will be together for all the Bharat Darshan, India Day, everything. Next, coming to the training for especially for IFS Forest Service, it's in Indira Gandhi National Forest Academy, Dehradun. I can say IFS training is the most beautiful training among all the services because it extends to 16.5 months. First of all, so you will be having a college like environment and college like bonding in the academy that no other service gives. Secondly, the sheer number of tours, attachments it gives, and other extracurricular activities no other training can match. For example, we go for team-based tours like West India 20 days, South India 20 days, East India 20 days, and hill tour some 20 days. Then we will go for foreign tour. So every batch has some foreign tours. For example, I went for Russia, Finland, and Estonia, and in my batch there are two groups. Other group went for Spain and Italy. So the foreign tour is also awesome, and you get to explore some of the pristine places of India where nobody had ever visited. And coming to attachments, we have attachments with many institutes like IIM Lucknow, Indian Military Academy, and Amity University for media management modules. And even we go to NPA, National Police Academy for wildlife forensics, etc. So there are so many attachments and so many learning modules are there. Coming to extracurricular activities, there is rifle shooting, swimming, horse riding, all three in Indian Military Academy, and many other attachments. Even we went for shooting at NPA too. So there are a lot of opportunities, and it's like in just 1.5 years, I have seen so many places in my life that I have never seen before. So I made a video of same about 2018 batch video of IFS. My friend made the video. There you can see the beautiful phase of training, all the phases of training. So I can see this is one of the best training for among all the services in India.
Okay. Just a side question. Is it the
Yeah,
same campus for the Forest Academy where many movie shootings have taken place over the years?
yeah,
I think Student of the
yeah.
Year was shot there, right? If
The
I'm
same
right.
FRA campus, which is the most beautiful campus among in India,
Okay.
and the beautiful building, and it has some 350 plus bird varieties are there, and it's a very beautiful campus. We used to run around the building during morning PT, and say every time we used to run, there will be like a background the Missouri Hills will be there. It will be mesmerizing sight every day morning during our PT times. So it is one of the very beautiful period in our life.
Okay. So I'm sure you must have met some movie stars as well, because many movie shootings take place at the campus.
No, actually, in that 16.5 months, just 6 7 months we will be in the academy. Rest of the months we will be always on tours or like some attachment. We will be always from away from the academy. So it's
Okay.
more of a like a journey adventure.
Okay. And do you have any exams that you have to write and clear in during your training period?
Definitely. Once you clear a IFS course, complete the IFS course, you will get a diploma in forestry. So definitely you have to write exams. Exams will be of like every 3 months. Once there will be a term exams will be there. So it will be easy. It's more of common sense based, and you can definitely clear. It will be mostly of practical, and people from WII and other guest faculties like Waterman of India, Plastic Man, everybody will come and teach you. So since we cleared UPSC, this is nothing to us.
Okay. But just wanted to clear that some aspirants might assume that once we have cleared the exam, we do not have to write any more exams. But that is not the truth. In every academy, there is some exam
Yeah.
or the other that you have to write and you have to clear while you are under training. So you told us about the training, which is almost 17 months long. So it's quite an
Yeah.
extensive training. You go for various attachments. And at the end of this period, what happens? Do you go directly into job and you start your work at the end of these 16.5 months?
At the end of the training, whoever completed their course, because of 16.5 months, and there will be like attendance restrictions and all. About some 30 to 40% could not finish all the courses. So whoever finish the course, they will get the degree. There will be a ceremony for it, like convocation, like we have in college. Generally, President of India, or Vice President of India, or Governor of the state, or Minister in MOE, FCC Minister will be invited for the ceremony. Immediately after that, we will be coming to the cadres, respective cadres we get allocated. No? So we used to come to the cadres. There we will be having OJT, called on-job training. It will be for 4 months. So in that 4 months, you won't be given any responsibility. You will be like learning the field. Till then, you learned the theoretical things in the academy, and you have seen what the best the officers did in the field during the tours. Now you going to see in close quarters about what are the office works, how the files moves, and you will be having DM attachment, SP attachment. If it is an Naxalite affected area, you will be having Naxal attachment, anti-Naxal attachment will be there with the CRPF personals and police personals, and
Okay.
there will be district
Work
court
with the
attachment.
CRPF as well.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Nice.
So there will be that attachment will be there. Especially people posted in Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, and MP Chhattisgarh border where there is an Naxal movement and in the forest area. So we need to know how their working is also. So we'll be attached to them also to know what they are doing. And there will be district court attachment. Then there will be treasury attachment. There will be lot of attachments to know about what is the entire district administration is all about in that 4 months. So after this 4 months, you will get to know as a district level officer to whom to call when an issue arises. So these 4 months is full of complete learning that is like over and above what you have learned in the academy. You will be knowing the field. Then you will be going with the lower level staff like forest guard, rangers. You will be going with the to the field to know the difficulties they are facing. What are their requirements? So in this 4 months, you will be like a student only. Again, you will be learning with everyone, sitting with everyone.
I can say that it's like an internship period you can call at the end of your
Yeah.
training.
And this is the buffer period where people like me who came from deep south and come to central India does not know the language and culture of the people. This will be a buffer period for us to get to know about the people and their culture and their language and how to move along with them and to settle in the cadre, some entirely from a different place. And this is a much needed phase for all India service officers, especially who go to completely different state from their home state.
Okay. Talking about the cadre allocation, how exactly is the cadre allocated and how many cadres are there? Is it just like the IAS and IPS? And also, is it compulsory to learn the language of the state where you are posted? For example, you are from Tamil Nadu and you have been allocated Madhya Pradesh. So is it compulsory for you to learn Hindi?
It's exactly like IAS and IPS only. IAS, IPS, and IFS 3 are all India services. So all three all India services are cadre based. So exactly same zonal system, everything is same. So in fact, in some districts, IAS, IPS, IFS trainings are posted together. So they may attend some training together also, like DM attachment. Some IAS probation will be already with the DM attachment. So we will be like from DFO office, we will go and join with them for 1 week and we learn together. So in a district, if you see, four people are like heads of the district, like pillars of the district they used to say. One is DM, another one is SP, another one is DFO, another one is district judge. So these four coordination between all four is much needed. So this attachment is also much needed. Coming to the cadre, yeah, as like IAS and IPS, we have to learn the language of the people because in state like MP where it is pure Hindi and even the files are in Hindi, we are learning Hindi is much needed. Same goes to people who went from north to south like Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka. They are also learning the regional languages because they have to at initial phase they have to work at the one level lower. Like for example, if I'm joining as a DFO after 2 years, I have to go one level below. Like I have to take in charge of ranger. Likewise, if an IPS professional who is going to become an SP, he has to work as an inspector for some 4 5 months. So you are going one level lower, which is like more rural and from a district level. So at that level, you if you have to work, you have to meet the people, you have to understand them. So it's much needed, and you have to learn the languages. So I myself recruited one Hindi tutor for some 2 months, and now I'm knowing basic Hindi. Now I know to read, write, but in a slow pace. But as time passes, it will come to. Likewise, people who went to South also they recruited some tutors. And even if you spoke to your DFO, SP, or DM, they will arrange some tutors for you. You can learn it easily in 2 months. Basic level you can manage. After that, as time passes, some 1 or 2 years, you will get over it.
Yes. So I think this is epitomizing the spirit of All India Services, learning the language of the state where you are posted. And that is the true character of the All India Services. Now, I had a question in mind. This is more of a personal question. Since you are a forest service officer, do you get opportunities to go to all these conferences that India takes part in, like the COP, all the environment conferences that are going on?
Actually, this is a nice question. Generally, people think IFS means they stay inside forest. No, it's not true. We have very good representation in most of the United Nations parties like UNCCD, UNFCC, many things. Even as a probationers, we attended UNCCD conference as a representatives of India. All the 72 probationers attended that.
Oh, nice.
Even the last UNCCD, and even the next batch also attended for 2 days. So we were given opportunity at the professional level itself to understand at the global level how we have to represent India, what we have to put forward, and how to get funding and support from the United Nations. So this is one of the best opportunity. We attended it in Delhi last year, and 2019 batch also attended along with the MOFCC ministers.
Okay. And
And even we presented a paper, two of our probationers even given a chance to present the works of IFS in front of the uh, foreign delegates in India panel
okay.
in UNCTV conference.
Okay. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about the conservation efforts and how exactly do Forest Services officer take part in it. For example, all the national parks and the biosphere reserves that we have, how exactly does a IFS officer make sure that these areas are conserved? What is your role in these
Yeah.
areas?
See, first of all, we have to know the domain of IFS so that we can get into detail about it. For example, IAS and IPS, their domain is all the laws, rules, and regulation in revenue land. Okay, so IAS will go to the administrative role, and IPS will see the law and order role in the revenue land. IFS do the both administrative, law and order, conservation and protection in the forest land. For example, I am residing in Manla. So in Manla has around 30 percentage of forest area, and around 56 percentage of people are dependent on forest. So in this 30 to 40 percentage of forest area, the DFO is responsible for all the conservation activities, development activities, and protection. So he is responsible for the Wildlife Protection Act, in which includes hunting, poaching, everything. He is responsible for IFA, Indian Forest Act, which includes protection of reserve forest, protected forest. So his role is like both role of IAS and IPS in the domain of forest land. So how he is playing the role there? For example, in a forest land here in Manla having Kanha National Park nearby. So national parks, especially protected areas, has a separate entity. There, an IFS officer is posted as a deputy director or field director. This entity is completely separate and independent from the district administration and DFO. Even they are separate from the DFO itself. So if in Manla, if there is a national park, there will be a field director for the national park. Under the field director, there will be numerous rangers. Under the rangers, there will be forest guards, forest beat guards, watchers, everyone. For example, in Kanha, under the field director, there are around 700 field personnel are there. So for 1,100 square kilometer of Kanha National Park, that field officer, Mr. Krishnamurthy sir, who is an IFS officer of 1998 batch, I think so, he is in charge of that park. So he is responsible for the protection, like fencing of the forest. He is responsible for ecotourism there. He is responsible for the welfare of his employees, like establishing schools nearby the park, establishing petrol pump, and he is responsible for regulating the tourism during the peak times along with the district administration. And he is responsible for Project Tiger and if Project Elephant, everything inside the, for example, Barasinga project. So this is a separate entity away from the district administration. So it goes. It's like it has its own funds. It has its own society foundation. For example, MP Tiger Foundation, Kanha Tiger Foundation. So their funds, everything is entirely separate, and they function as a separate entity. And whenever there is a need, like example during peak tourist time, district police will support in law and order management during the peak tourist time, and district administration supports in terms of infrastructure, and field director ensures everything going smooth during the peak tourist season. And non-tourist times, they will ensure that the forest is well protected away from the poaching, everything. there will be patrolling, everything will be there. So this is the work of an IFS officer in the national park.
Okay. So I can say that the conservation efforts are directly monitored by Indian Forest Service officers itself. So all that we
Yes.
read about during the UPSC preparation, it is actually on ground, the work is done by the IFS officers.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Now, finally, I would like to ask you about the services, all the three AIS services. Can you give us a brief comparison about all three? You have talked about many points already, but just to summarize, if an aspirant has to choose whether he should go for Forest Service or the IAS or IPS, where exactly all these three balance out? How do they match up?
First of all, I would like to say the service is like this only. IFS is like this only. But since after merging with the UPSC and more and more IFS officers are coming to social media and increasing awareness about environment, and more projects are coming from United Nations and other foreign countries to India. So now the IFS is getting its due. Actually, it was long overdue. Even people like me who are like studied in some of the good colleges in India were unaware of the works of IFS officer and unaware of the service itself actually. And thankfully, because of media and social media nowadays, IFS and IFS is coming up, and the works of IFS officers are coming out, and aspirants also now reading a lot about it. Many officers are writing, and I myself wrote a lot in my website and posted a lot of videos about it. So coming to the service, see, first of all, everybody writes for IAS, I accept it. And some people choose for IPS, some people go for foreign service in specific, some go for IRSIT, some come for foreign service in specific. So leaving those chunks, if you think of IAS, IPS, and IFS, first of all three are all India services. All three have some same perks, privileges, and salaries. So there is no like nothing, one is less, one is nothing like that. Everybody gets bungalow, everybody gets car, everybody gets their own domain, everybody is independent, or like more or less there is need for coordination, that's it. When it's come to IAS, their work is more of like in the revenue land, and their work is more of like all the departments like education, social sector, all the social sectors, women empowerment, everything in the revenue land. IPS is more of only oriented towards law and order, but it entails all the land. So we not only restricted to revenue land. If some murder happens in the forest area, then IPS will come into play. So they perform the law and order duty element in the entire area. And when it comes to IFS, for example, I myself saw. Initially, I thought like IFS only do forest and wildlife. There is nothing more than that. When I come to the field, I realize that there are a lot of opportunities of giving livelihood opportunities to the people dependent on forest. For states like Madhya Pradesh, Kerala, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, Jharkhand, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, West Bengal, entire Northeast, Andaman Nicobars. If you see those states, there are so many tribal people, and tribal population is very high, and many people are dependent on forest. And as a IFS officer, as a DFO, he is responsible for giving them employment opportunities. For example, during plantation work, they should be given the priority and a lot of value addition. For example, if some bamboo products are bamboo is growing, and value addition from bamboos like water bottles. Now Tripura has introduced bamboo water bottles. It was a brainchild of an IFS officer. So like that, and a lot of self-help groups have been created from Vandan Yojana and from Narega. Narega works also in the forest areas will be done by the forest department under the IFS officer, and construction of check dams, small dams, and all the like construction of ponds, promoting fisheries. So all those work that is more of rural based, and giving employment opportunities to rural people who are in and around forest will be done by the IFS office. But many people ask, sir, what are the your work in the urban places? This is a nice question actually. Previously, I was asked this. See, nowadays urban forestry is promoted like anything. People are more and more want to live in a forest-like environment. So now in smart cities mission, many IFS officers have been roped in to promote forest and wildlife in urban areas. Lot of urban parks are coming in, and a lot of urban forest green belts are coming in, and this has become a more of a landscape management approach. For example, in Chandigarh, Dr. Abdul Qayyum sir is doing a wonderful job of merging forest into life of urban people. So this is our domain is expanding every single day. That is like I see there is no limit for expansion of the domain if one wishes to do. And coming to, because of climate change, global warming, lot of new projects are coming in, like solar installation of solar panels, and a lot of new projects are coming in, like Miyawaki plantations in urban areas, and ecotourism also providing lot of opportunities. So the if we desire for, there is no restriction to do any good work that you desire for.
Okay. Okay. I wanted to ask you this question earlier, but I forgot. What kind of a family life can an Indian Forest Service officer have? I mean, how's the accommodation? What kind of perks are there? I'm talking about the family aspect. Are you posted in jungles, and what kind of houses do you get?
Yes, actually, because of this word Indian Forest Service, people are thinking like we'll be residing in the forest always. No, as like I already told, IAS, IPS, IFS, and district judge, all four are district level officers. So their house will be at the district. They will get their accommodation as like IAS and IPS. The bungalow will be there. Or like if any other accommodation, it will be definitely provided by government itself, and they will be giving the car. All the perks, privileges are same like IAS and IPS. It will be equal at the district level. There will be no worries for you. When it come to field level, yes, as like an IPS, if he want to go for an operation or visit, he has to visit the place. As like IAS, if he want to see his site, he has to go to a rural area. So our area is forest. So if we want to go to inspection, we have to travel to that area and we have to walk on the feet. There is there is no other way. You have to walk on the field. You have to see the site, how, what the works has been done, whether the poacher has been captured or not. You have to see the site, how the poaching has been happened, hunting has been happened, how the illegal felling happened. You have to be on your feet all the time. That does not mean you have to reside in the forest. There will be guest house at all the forest areas, and everybody knows forest guest house is one of the beautiful places, like one of the beautiful locations of India. So after your field inspection, you can come to your guest house, take some rest, and have some good food, and you can leave the next day to your house. Um, but your family will be living in the district headquarters in the bungalows you are given. So your field is forest, so you have to go to forest and come back for inspection, for field visit, for trekking, or anything, or any other work like campa funds are coming in. So for those works you have to see. So you have to go, you have to be with your staffs now and then. And as per forest manual, a DFO must be in the field. He should halt at the field night stay at least 75 days in a year. So it is in the forest manual itself. So you have to be good. You have to go to the field, but your family will be in the district one. You don't need to worry about it.
Since you spoke about poachers and the field tours that you have to undertake, is there any security risk on the job? Do you guys carry weapons, or what exactly is the security scenario?
See, all the forest rangers guards are given the weapons. We are not uniformed personnel, but people under us like ranger, forest guards are the uniformed personnel.
Okay.
Okay, so they will be given, they will be having the weapons in the for example, in the disturbed areas like Naxalite areas, DFOs are also given the weapons for their safety purposes. Yes, there will be always the field personnel who know the field well. For example, if I'm going to a coaching area like a hunting where it is happening, the local beat guard, the forester, deputy for ranger who are in charge will be accompanying with you. So don't worry, you won't be going alone. So they will be accompanying with you with all the equipments, and you don't need to worry about that. There will be enough protection. So as like any other job, there is a challenges here too. As like IPS, here also there are challenges, and it's a mix of, I already don't know, it's a mix of both IPS and IAS. So there is a law and order front also. So you have to lead your team when there is an issue.
Okay. So it was great talking to you, and I think we have covered all the questions that an aspirant can have about the Indian Forest Service. And we thank
Thank
you
you.
so much for taking out your time from your on-job training. And I wish you all the best for your career in Madhya Pradesh. And I am sure that we will be reading up about you in the news soon because of your efforts. And let me just tell the aspirants that Mr. Vijayanantham is also running a website. So if you want to know about UPSC exam preparation, you can always visit his website. I think you can clarify more on this if you want to.
Yes, sir. So I started preparation. I got to know about IFS after reading Pavin Kaswan Sir's website. So once I cleared, I thought like I have to write about it, because many people are not knowing about the service, and when they get to know about that, they will make a decision, like right decision. That there is some other service also which will give them good opportunities to do what they decide for, and in that way they will avoid wasting so many years chasing just one service. So for that thing, I started writing in my website. Its name is called vijayinjananam.com. I would request Sir to highlight the website name in the description part also, so that you can check.
Sure,
I
sure.
have written everything about IFS, how to prepare for forestry, how to prepare for geology, how the training is all about. All the queries so far asked to me about IFS has been updated in my website, and the videos about IFS training, everything I have uploaded that. And some of the optional strategies by my batchmates also I have uploaded it. And continuing about our my efforts, the next batch 2019 batch has started a website called beingifs.in. There they accumulated all the materials and all the strategies for all the optionals of Indian Forest Service. There also you can check if you want. Finally, like I would like to thank Mahipal sir for giving me this opportunity to talk to you all, and welcome to the service. Thank you.
Thank you so much.